Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 7th of February 2020 to talk about tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. Give me 1 second, guys. I've got this thing too big of a glare on my glasses. Let's fix this for all you video watchers. Let's get that glare down a little bit. There we go. All right, so we're here to talk about Smackdown. It looks like YouTube has not sent out a notification or something because, well, there's nobody in the live chat right now. That's unfortunate. Again, like I said, it could be that YouTube just didn't send out a notification. Let me refresh the live chat and see if there's anybody there. Let's see. Let's refresh this as we do. You know, tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. I'll give you my quick thoughts before we do the rundown. I thought the show itself was really good. I felt like, I don't want to say really good, because the opening, that dirt sheet, that died a horrible death, and I'll get into that. But everything else I thought worked well. It built towards the future and the Super Showdown show and what's coming next. So I feel like there was a lot of future building tonight on SmackDown, and it looks like still nobody in the live chat for some reason. Not really sure what's going on. Here we go. Now the live chat's going. There we go. I just had to refresh it because for some reason YouTube didn't want to show me anything. Also, if you guys do want to let me know what you thought of tonight's SmackDown, we won't be taking calls, but we will be reading your text messages. Text into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341, where you can send your text messages, ask me your questions, and let me know what you thought of tonight's SmackDown. So the show kicked off with Miz and Morrison bringing back, quote-unquote, the dirt sheet. And boy, was this bad. It feels like every person here, Miz, Morrison, Kofi, Big E, way over-scripted. I don't want to say overacting. I just think they were way over-scripted, to be completely honest. And I don't know what to think about it, but let's just run it down. Miz and Morrison make their way down to the ring to host the dirt sheet. Morrison came out wearing a blazer and no shirt, made a joke about how, yeah, this jacket's got buttons, but I don't want to use them. Miz called himself the chick magnet. I haven't heard that one in a while. Then they said that they're here to debut the trailer for their new blockbuster because, you know, the Emmys, the Oscars, they're this weekend. So here's the trailer for our new movie, Once Upon a Time in the Dirt Sheet, which, of course, was a parody on Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The parody was all right. It was all right. I'm going to say that. Some may have liked it more than I did. Some may have hated it more than I did. But I thought it was okay. There was cameos in there from John Laurinaitis, Mr. Miz, George Mizanin, Lance Storm, and a few others. So after the trailer played, Miz and Morrison, which the trailer played and the crowd was absolutely dead for this, basically. Miz and Morrison promised that at the end it said, you're coming soon at Super Showdown, new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So again, they reiterated that after the trailer played, and then they were interrupted by The New Day. The New Day came out. Big E had some popcorn, and they made fun of the trailer, saying that the best thing in there was the clips of Kofi. No, I take that back. He said the best thing, he first said something about himself, but then said the best thing was Mr. Miz, because Kofi is Mr. Miz's favorite wrestler. That's what it was. New Day then promised to retain their championships at Super Showdown. Miz and Morrison bragged about being the best tag team, beating all the other teams on SmackDown. And now they're just going to... Well, first Miz says, we've run through you guys. We've beaten you guys the last couple of weeks. And my question is, Miz, not we. Morrison has. Morrison has beaten both Kofi and Big E. You lost to Kofi. I think 2 times now. But when they said that they've beaten every other tag team, the Usos would then come out. The Usos pointed out that, well, you haven't beat us. So I assumed that either they were going to get added to the match or we were going to get a triple threat at Super Showdown. But then the music of Dolph Ziggler would play as Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode would interrupt. The Miz and Morrison would then attack the New Day in the ring. Bada boom, there we go. Setting up the match at Super Showdown, as well as the match coming up next, the Usos versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Kristen McNutt with a super chat donation. She says, any new updates on Sasha Banks? All we know is what Sasha said this week on Corey Graves' After the Bell podcast, that she is not 100%. It is her ankle that is hurt, which we had heard, and that she's not coming back till she is 100% because she doesn't want to come back anything less, which I commend her for that. A lot of people go, oh, I'm good enough. I can get back in the ring, and then you hurt it again. You don't want that to happen, and it looks like Sasha is not going to risk that. So really, that's all we know on Sasha Banks. Again, if you guys do want to ask any questions, you can do like Kristen did here and send a super chat donation that guarantees that your question gets answered. Also, you can text in to 510-906-1341 as we will read those text messages towards the end of the podcast. So the first match of the night did see, like I stated, the Usos taking on Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. The Usos had the early advantage until Ziggler caused a distraction. Roode rocked Jay with a clothesline to take over. The heels isolated Jay in their corner and cut him off from Jimmy. Roode slowed down the pace with a chin lock here. The heels hit a zigzag and a spinebuster combo for a near fall. Jimmy made the save and nailed Ziggler with a super kick. Jay made a brief comeback and climbed to the top turnbuckle. Ziggler distracted the referee and Roode shoved him to the floor. Excuse me. After commercial breaks, the heels were still firmly in control until Jimmy got the hot tag and ran wild. Roode, though, caught Jimmy with the power slam and got a 2 off of it. Roode attempted the glorious DDT, but Jimmy backdropped Roode. Ziggler got the tag and hit the zigzag for a very close near fall. Ziggler set up for the super kick, but Jimmy hit the super kick first. Jimmy knocked Roode off the apron and tagged Jay. Jay hit a splash off the top, but Ziggler got his knees up and cradled him for a near fall. Jimmy then made the blind tag and sent Ziggler to the floor. The Usos then hit the double super kick on Roode. Jimmy then hit a splash for the victory. I thought this is a really fun match. I enjoyed this match. I thought all 4 guys worked great together, and the Usos pick up a victory here. They then recapped Reigns and the Usos, covering King Corbin in dog food. Michael Cole and Corey Graves discussed how embarrassed the King has been. Corey Graves even made a joke saying that, Corbin was at the big game, and people were shying away from him because he still smelt like the dog food. It's weird that people can't say the Super Bowl. I've listened to a bunch of podcasts. I've seen now here on television. No one's calling it the Super Bowl. Everyone's saying the big game. I don't get that. It's like, what? You think the NFL is going to come sue you because you said the Super Bowl? I said it how many times now? Anyways, Corbin then charged into one of the production trucks and said, who showed that video? Who showed that clip? And one guy said, it wasn't me. Another guy said, it wasn't me. And another guy goes, I did? And Corbin goes, oh, it was you? It was you? And so he proceeds to take the guy out of the production truck, throw him down a flight of stairs. Well, I don't know if you can call it a flight of stairs, but these stairs, and leave him basically for dead on the asphalt. A bunch of producers and referees like Sanjay Dutt and Adam Pearce would show up, yell at Corbin, and tell him to get out of here. Back in the ring, we got Elias playing his guitar. Got a little riff going, and the crowd actually was into it. He then noted that he's going to face Cesaro next and wondered who has his back. He said he wrote a song for the fans called Third Time's a Charm. Of course, Cesaro and Sammy would interrupt. Sami Zayn was upset. He said, how do you like being interrupted? You interrupted me last week. Now I'm going to interrupt you this week. And Elias goes, have you not seen the last 2.5 years? It's a miracle if I don't get interrupted. Zayn then noted that they were going through a crisis after Nakamura lost the Intercontinental Championship last week when Elias interrupted. Now tonight Cesaro is going to take care of Elias. Chris McNutt with another Super Chat donation. She says, Corbin-Roman feud has to be over at Super Showdown. I assume. I mean, I pray to God, I hope that the steel cage match that we'll talk about later is the final match of this feud. I hope. So in this match, Elias had the early advantage until Zayn jumped on the apron. Cesaro took advantage and rammed Elias into the post. Cesaro knocked Elias off the apron with a big boot. He then applied a chin lock to slow down the pace. Cesaro choked Elias on the middle rope until the referee pulled him off. Zayn punched Elias behind the referee's back. Cesaro went back to the chin lock, but Elias fought out. Elias hit a back suplex and a jumping knee for a near fall. Elias climbed to the top, but Cesaro hit the ropes to knock him down. They fought on the top, but Elias pushed off Cesaro. Cesaro leaped to his feet and hit an impressive uppercut here. Cesaro then hit a superplex from the apron. From the apron for a close near fall. They traded pinfall attempts for a minute before Cesaro lifted Elias in the air and rocked him with another uppercut for a 2. Cesaro then hit a series of vicious uppercuts. Elias fought back and hit a big clothesline. Elias then hit the elbow off the top and picked up the victory, defeating Cesaro. They then showed Goldberg getting ready for his upcoming interview segment, and my first thought was, fuck. He's not even at the building. He's in his garage back at home. Well, that's lame. Couldn't even fly him to San Jose with a week's notice. You know how crazy that crowd would have went if Goldberg's music hits and he came out? Absolutely bananas. Michael Cole pushed the start of the XFL coming up starting tomorrow with 2 games, 1 game on Fox, 1 game on ABC. Then Sunday, 1 game on Fox, 1 game on NBC. They then said they were going to throw it to Goldberg at his home in Texas when King Corbin would interrupt instead. So I thought, we're getting Corbin and Goldberg. If Corbin's interrupting the Goldberg thing, but that's not what we got at all. Corbin demanded that the fans Corbin demanded that the fans bow down to him, that they listen to him. He said he was furious, that he was embarrassed last week. Corbin then pointed out that Roman Reigns, he needs the Usos to win. Corbin noted that if Reigns is tough as he claims, then he would have fought Corbin one-on-one at the Royal Rumble. I hate that Corbin keeps bringing this motherfucking shit up because who came out before the Usos? Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. I get he's the heel and not supposed to mention that, but it's just dumb. Jason Dalton, actually, technically, we got NASCAR starting tomorrow, buddy boy. Clash in Daytona 500 qualifying practice tomorrow morning on FS1. Corbin then demanded one more match. One more match with Roman Reigns. Corbin then got into a fan's face and dumped water on him. I think you were supposed to think it was a beer. Whatever. Reigns' music would then hit and he ran down and he attacked Corbin. They fought around ringside with Reigns hitting the drive-by. Corbin then ran off through the crowd. Reigns then grabbed a mic and said that this match is going to be a steel cage match. That way, we're really one-on-one. So finally, they were able to join Goldberg live via satellite from his home in Texas. Goldberg noted, "Me and my son watched the Royal Rumble. And not only was it impressive, but it was inspiring." He said, "I know who's next, and I know Brock, well, he's busy. He's got Ricochet, and then he's got Drew McIntyre. But I need to turn my attention to the Universal title. I never got my rematch," he said, "for the Universal Championship, so he's coming after The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and the Universal title." Goldberg was about to make the official challenge when the Firefly Funhouse suddenly interrupted with breaking news. It was the Firefly Network or something like that. Wyatt pretended to be a news anchor and agreed that the title match of Super Showdown, it should happen. He then tried to interview Goldberg. Goldberg didn't really care for the mind games and told Wyatt he's next. Goldberg then walked off after taking off his earpiece. And it was confirmed later in the night that Goldberg will be challenging The Fiend at Super Showdown for the WWE Championship. It was also confirmed later in the night that, yes, we will be seeing Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, or King Corbin, steel cage match. Jack Dawson with a super chat donation. I appreciate that. He says, at Super Showdown, who do you have, Goldberg winning the Universal title back, or do you have The Fiend retaining till Mania? I'm pretty sure we got The Fiend retaining till Mania. I mean, they could always go Goldberg wins and then drops the title to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But I don't want to see Goldberg win the belt just to hold it for a month like he did last time. I honestly don't. So, Kristen and I noted that Goldberg stated that he never got his rematch for losing the title after winning it at Fastlane 2017. Remember when Goldberg mentioned So, yeah. We then see Daniel Bryan in the locker room watching all this as it happened. He was then approached by Heath Slater, who was just a total dick to Daniel Bryan. He wouldn't stop talking about Bryan's situation with Wyatt. He noted that Wyatt's been he basically made fun of Daniel Bryan for picking the strap stipulation. He's like, why would you let another man beat you like that? Why would you be strapped to a guy? Like, he was just going on, and Bryan was getting madder and madder. Then he talked about how The Fiend attacked his family. He goes, that was me, that was Miz. He goes, it's all the same. Finally, Bryan goes, how about this? You and me have a match right now. Slater got this look on his face like, oh, shit, what did I say? And Bryan took off. We then got a This Week in WWE History segment. Talked about Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from NBC's The Main Event, February 5th, 1988. They then recapped the Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt strap match from the Royal Rumble. We then got Daniel Bryan versus Heath Slater. Bryan completely dominated this match. Slater, for some reason, looked way more jacked than he ever has. Bryan rocked Slater with a dropkick right at the ring of the bell. Bryan followed this up with a suicide dive and a missile dropkick. Bryan rocked Slater with some yes kicks. He then hit the running knee. Bryan didn't go for the win, but instead a series of stomps to the head. He was holding the arms and just stomp, beating the shit out of him. Finally, he transitions the stomps into the yes lock or the LeBell lock, whatever you want to call it. And, well, the referee just called off the match because Heath Slater completely knocked out. Daniel Bryan, I think, is going heel again. I don't know if that's the exact thing, but that's how it came off to me. We're getting heel Daniel Bryan again. They then recapped Braun Strowman and his emotional Intercontinental Championship victory. Renee Young, randomly on Smackdown here, I was a little shocked, to interview the new Intercontinental Champion. He came out to the ring and the fans gave him a great reaction with a slight "you deserve it" chant. Strowman said winning the title is his greatest accomplishment. He talked about winning the greatest Royal Rumble, flipping ambulances, winning tag team gold with an 8-year-old boy on Raw. Actually, that was at WrestleMania, but anyways. He then says, but now he can hold the title, a singles title, over his head and be happy about it. But he was then interrupted by Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. Sami Zayn demanded that Nakamura get a rematch, and Strowman said, okay, as the Intercontinental Champion, I'm willing to defend my title anywhere, any place, any time. And Zayn said, okay, but we're smarter than you, so this ain't happening tonight. Especially not in San Jose. They then said, we've already been thinking things through. And then all of a sudden, the Revival would jump Strowman from behind. This set up for Nakamura to hit the Kinshasa. but Strowman rocked him with a right hand instead. Strowman then fought off the heels and chased Sami Zayn around the ring. Nakamura caught Strowman with a knee and then hit the Kinshasa. What the hell? Why are Revival just random hitmen? Are the Revival the WWE's version of the Butcher and the Blade? Butcher and the Blade keep getting paid off by MJF to do his dirty work. Well, they first helped King Corbin with his dirty work. Now they're helping Sami and Nakamura with his dirty work. So is that all this is? They're hitmen now? They then showed a former UFC champion, actually still current heavyweight champion, Daniel Cormier, sitting in the front row with him and his son. They then said that we have a little update as Otis is getting ready for his Valentine's Day date with Mandy Rose. So we had a video package of Otis working out and trying on different outfits. Tucker also tried to teach Otis how to eat a steak with a fork. He stood up and knocked over the table. Cool. Not really looking forward to that segment next week. We then got Sheamus coming out for a match. He came out and Apollo Crews was already in the ring. Sheamus attacked Crews at the start of the match. Crews made a brief comeback and missed a splash in the corner. Sheamus then hit the bro kick, picked up a quick victory, and then afterwards, Sheamus teased a second bro kick and, well, got attacked by Shorty G. Shorty G came in and made the save. Sheamus recovered and hit a bro kick on Shorty G. Looks like that feud may not be over. We then got the main event. The main event was a number one contenders match. Carmella, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and Dana Brooke. But before we talk about that, we got to talk about our sponsor for tonight. Let me pull this up. Sponsor for tonight's video, as it's been for the last couple of weeks, is Strong Style Brand. Strong Style Brand is a really cool, a great pro wrestling inspired clothing apparel line. You can get hats, t-shirts, hoodies, custom shoes. You can even customize the t-shirt that you order. All you got to do is head over to strongstylebrand.com/PWUnlimited and you will get 10% off of your purchase. Forget to put /PWUnlimited. Don't worry, because at checkout, all you got to do is use promo code PWUnlimited, and you will also get that 10% off of your purchase. Strong Style Brand is a awesome wrestling-inspired clothing brand. They're out there sponsoring and being hyped up by many different independent pro wrestlers, like former Impact Wrestling World Champion Sami Callihan, even current AEW stars like Britt Baker and MJF have all supported Strong Style Brand at one point in time. So with that, head over to strongstylebrand.com/PWUnlimited right now. Well, actually, as soon as we're done with this recap, to get some really cool merchandise. Again, they've got hats, they've got t-shirts, they've got hoodies, tank tops. I mean, hey, it's almost springtime. Got to get ready for that warmer weather. Why not get some cool tank tops from Strong Style Brand? So with that, we're back here talking about Smackdown and the main event, which was a number one contenders match. Also, I do got to note that they did announce to the live crowd tonight that on July 19th, they'll be back in San Jose, California, inside the SAP Center with Extreme Rules. So Extreme Rules is coming to us on July 19th from San Jose. Which, if you remember last time Extreme Rules was in San Jose, we had that damn Singapore Cane match with Bayley and Alexa Bliss. That was not good. That just was not good. So all four women went for pin attempts early in this match. Dana Brooke did a somersault elbow in the corner, but Bliss knocked her to the floor. Naomi recovered and hit a plancha to the floor, wiping out all three competitors. Bayley was at ringside watching this and posed over all of them. The fans popped big for that. Remember, tonight they were in Bayley's hometown. They then broke out in a loud Bayley chant because, well, they love Bayley in San Jose, whether she's a heel or a face. Naomi got in her face, and the fans booed this. Naomi pushed Bayley, and the fans were furious. Bayley jumped to her feet and attacked Naomi. The fans popped as Bayley sent Naomi into the ring steps. After a commercial break, Naomi caught Carmella with a kick and a springboard crossbody onto both Brooke and Bliss. Naomi then rocked Brooke with a kick, but Bliss made the save. Brooke hit a powerbomb on Bliss for a very, very close 2. Carmella broke it up, though. Naomi then hit a bulldog into the middle corner on Carmella and followed this up with a split-legged moonsault, which just looked absolutely great, but only got a near fall off of it. Naomi used the inside cradle on Bliss for another near fall. Naomi then sent Bliss into Carmella and hit a split-legged splash on Brooke for a 2. Bliss then sent Naomi into the turnbuckle and attempted the twisted Bliss, but Naomi got her knees up. The finish of the match then came when Naomi hit her rear view on Alexa Bliss and went for the pin, but Carmella hit her with a super kick and pinned Naomi, picking up the victory. Now here is something I need to show you guys. Let me pull this up. Carmella wins. She's going to face Bayley for the Smackdown Women's Championship. I had heard that this match was going to actually happen more closer to Mania, if not at Mania. I was told earlier today that Naomi was probably winning. Then I was told Naomi's not winning. Plans were changed in the middle of the day. But as far as when Carmella and Bayley is going to take place, if this will load. I don't know if it's going to load. I'll just tell you. Probably a Super Showdown. WWE sent out their preview via email today. I'm trying to pull up the image. Via email today. And it literally stated that the winner will face Bayley at Super Showdown. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see. I want to read it verbatim, but for some reason Twitter doesn't want to load because that's where I have the image. Right here, we've got it now. It states, Fatal 4-Way match to determine who faces Bayley at Super Showdown. Actually, you guys can't see that. Let me fix that. I got this a little too zoomed in for you guys. There we go. So it says Fatal 4-Way match to determine who faces Bayley at Super Showdown. So they didn't announce tonight when Carmella would be getting her title shot. They didn't actually state that the match was happening in Saudi Arabia, but one would assume that that's where it's going to happen if they announced it earlier in the day via their email blast. So it looks like that Bayley, Carmella, Super Showdown, that'll be the one women's match. Remember back at Crown Jewel, we had Natalia and Lacey Evans at the Saudi show. So, hey, we'll see if this is where it happens. If it does, if it doesn't, we're eventually going to get it. Again, like I said, the plans for the SmackDown Women's Championship have changed a little bit over the last couple of days. Again, going into the day, Naomi was slated to win. Then in the afternoon, that was changed, and apparently was changed to Carmella. But with that, before we wrap things up, we do have a couple text messages. If you guys want to send in your text messages, you can do so at 510-906-1341. Also, another way to ensure that your question or your comment gets read, you can always send in a Super Chat donation right here on YouTube. Super Chat donations help us directly as the money goes straight to us, and it helps us keep going here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited. All the donations, greatly appreciated. But let's check out these text messages. Person says, with Roman Reigns possibly being the Fiend's opponent at WrestleMania, what do you see Daniel Bryan doing in Mania Battle Royal? Tag champs, IC feud, AJ Styles if he's cleared. Well, it's not going to be AJ because he's on Raw. Bryan's on SmackDown. Would be a fun match, but they're on different brands. I don't see IC title, especially if Braun is still holding the belt. I mean, I have heard he could be a future opponent for Sheamus. I don't know if that's going to be Mania or past Mania. But again, I have heard that we could be getting Sheamus and Bryan sometime down the line. So maybe that's at Mania. I can WrestleMania 28 rematch. Hopefully it's not 18 seconds again. This person here says, if WWE removes pay-per-views off the network, do you think it'd push them to have a better shows and storylines to make people want to order the pay-per-views? No. Actually, if WWE puts their pay-per-views on something like an ESPN Plus or NBC Universal's Peacock service, they're going to be less motivated to get people to order these shows because they're going to get a flat fee from the service. ESPN or Peacock, NBC Universal, going to pay them a flat fee and say, here's how much you're going to get for X amount of years. Then it's on them to sell the pay-per-view. It's on them to hype it up. WWE don't have to fucking worry because they're going to get paid regardless. So here's how it works with ESPN and UFC. UFC said, on average, we make X amount every year on pay-per-view. So that's what they told ESPN we wanted. If you want to exclusively have the rights to our pay-per-views, you have to pay us at least, if not more, than what we can make off of regular pay-per-view. And what they did was they came to them with a number from one of their better years. Not a number that they would have got, because what they got paid by ESPN is way more than what they would have made with the pay-per-view lineup they had in 2019. Regardless, what ESPN did was they said, okay, you want X amount of money? You think you can make this much on pay-per-view? Well, we'll give you that. If we make more than that, then we'll also give you a percentage of the extra made. That's the offer, the deal that WWE is trying to get. Vince McMahon heard about that, and in January started sending out feelers, seeing if there was any bites on the line, and apparently there was. Now here's the thing. Vince McMahon said in the conference call that talks are going, and they may have something to announce Q1. What is Q1? January to March. Or April, end of March. Right before Mania. So if WWE is going to be moving their stuff to, say, ESPN Plus, which I've heard it may not be because they already pay so much for UFC, but maybe a DAZN, maybe the Peacock service for NBC Universal, then, well, they could announce that before WrestleMania. Again, as this question from the text line says, do you think it pushed them to have better shows and storylines to make people want to order the pay-per-views? No, because they're actually going to be making even more money this way than they would with a WWE network. Now, according to Dave Meltzer, he stated that if they go to the Peacock service, that's going to be $9.99, and with the Peacock service, there may not be any additional charges. But with ESPN Plus, as we see with UFC, you pay $4.99 for ESPN Plus, then $50-$60 for the pay-per-view itself. So it would behoove the fans if they go to Peacock, which I could see that being the better route for them because they've been working with NBC Universal for 30 years now at least. They've been on the USA Network for how long? So we'll see. This text message here does state, Tim, who do you think will Sheamus be starting a serious feud with after taking out the jobbers? Like I said earlier, I've heard that he could be working with Daniel Bryan soon. Jason Dalton says, who do you got winning on Sunday? Who do I always got winning? It's right here on my head. Can't bet against the champ. Rowdy Bush. This person says, never mind, that didn't load. There we go. Now it loaded. If you could pick anyone to face the Fiend at Mania besides Roman, who would it be? And do you think Charlotte going after the NXT title will get Shayna versus Becky? So the plan is Shayna versus Becky. That's been the plan since before January. Basically since back at Survivor Series. That's why she won, because they wanted her to look strong to the main roster crowd. So that was basically Becky versus Shayna, from what I was told, was the first match set in stone for WrestleMania. Now we know that we're getting Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar. We're most likely getting Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. And this person asked, well, if we don't get Roman and The Fiend, who would you like to see face The Fiend? And that's a tough one. Because really, I'm not digging The Fiend anymore. I liked it when they first started. Then the Seth Rollins feud kind of wavered me. Then the Daniel Bryan stuff. Granted, they were better matches than the Seth Rollins matches. Didn't really hype me up for The Fiend that much either. So it's like, who do I want to see face The Fiend? I honestly don't give a rat's ass. I don't care. Just put the Fiend match on and we'll be done with it. Wayne Montgomery says, I thought the 500 is next weekend. Yes, the Daytona 500 is February 16th. This weekend is Daytona 500 qualifying and the Clash. Basically, the Clash is their preseason race. Kind of get everybody hyped up. Then they've got, I know we're not talking wrestling here for a second, but then next Thursday, they will have the duels, which will determine who starts where in the Daytona 500. Then we go on a 3-day stretch of races, truck race, Xfinity race, Cup race. Next week, going to be awesome for NASCAR fans. 4 days in a row of racing. You got Cup racing on Thursday, truck racing on Friday, Xfinity race on Saturday, Cup race, Daytona 500 next Sunday. You got qualifying practice. You got Busch practice all day tomorrow, or Clash practice all day tomorrow. You got qualifying in the race on Sunday. Hey, my weekend's locked down. Anyways, got more text messages here to read. If you want to send in your text messages, you can do so at 510-906-1341. Person here says, what do you see AJ doing at WrestleMania? Ah, gotcha. Well, you know, I'm not 100% sure on that because we got to see if AJ is going to be back in time, which I'm hearing they could be, they should be, that he's already ahead of schedule of where they think. Like, he's got a separated shoulder. Within 2 days, he was already able to go like this, which they didn't think he would be, so that's good. But who can he face? I honestly don't know because everything is so up in the air right now with WrestleMania. I mean, if you look at the Raw brand, maybe you get a multi-man match for the U.S. title and you stick him in that. Give me a freaking multi-man ladder match for the U.S. title. Let's go 6 guys, maybe. Andrade, Humberto, Rey, AJ, Angel Garza, even though he's not supposed to be full-time on the main roster, and throw in another guy, Ricochet. Maybe take out Angel Garza, put in Aleister Black. Boom. 6-man U.S. title ladder match. There you go. Bada boom. Just booked it for WrestleMania. But with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. Wayne Montgomery says, I'm hearing it might rain next Sunday for the Daytona 500. I actually haven't checked the weather for Daytona. I don't know if they would have that far out. Let's see. Daytona, Florida weather. I know we're kind of not talking wrestling here, but I'm going to look this up. Vegeta Lover 92 says, yeah, 6-man ladder match. I mean, I loved the 6-man ladder match for the IC title at Mania 31. Why not give me another one of those at WrestleMania 35 this year? Jari Wells says, any news on a draft after WrestleMania? Haven't heard anything. They probably would do just another superstar shakeup. Let's see. Daytona weather. From what I'm seeing on the Weather Channel, they've got rain the day before, but not on the actual February 16th. So Daytona 500 looks clear right now, but the truck race and the Xfinity race don't look good. Actually, Mania 36, and there was one at WrestleMania 32 as well. I know there was one at WrestleMania 32, but I'm just saying I really liked the one at WrestleMania 31. The one at WrestleMania 36 or 32 was okay. I didn't think it was as good, though. Just my opinion. But with that, got a couple more text messages, actually. So let's read those before we wrap this up. First it says, why are we getting Goldberg and The Fiend? I feel like we've seen this song and dance before. No, we haven't. We have not seen Goldberg versus The Fiend before. Plus, you just need something random for The Fiend to do a Super Showdown. Why not bring Goldberg back? It'd be a cool, quick match. Whatever. And this person says, what is going on with Conti's situation? All we know is that she thought she should be getting more money. They, I guess, told her no, and she walked out. I don't know if maybe they were in contract negotiations. I don't know exactly the status of her contract, but her locker was cleared out. She's most likely no longer with the company. And we'll see where it goes. No more Tainara Conti. She had potential. I know some say that she wasn't good. But there's a difference in not good and getting better. And I had noticed that she was getting better. So we'll see where that all leads to. Maybe nothing, maybe something. But as of right now, it looks like Taynara Conti done with the WWE. With that, I want to say thank you to everybody who watched here live tonight on YouTube and watched later on YouTube or listen on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so much more. We'll be live again Monday morning for the wrestling wrap-up, Monday night to talk Monday Night Raw. So have a good night, guys, and we'll see you then.